The Clippers mollywopped, poleaxed the Lakers in an epic curb stomping of a beatdown there. The People's team beating the Hollywood squad. Kawhi Leonard, if you saw the game, you know this, he had 24 points. And, people concerned about Kawhi's health. He looked great. 7 Clippers in double figures, and the Clippers move into the number 3 spot for now, ahead of Denver in the West. And if this game wasn't on TV, let me tell you what would have happened. All right, let me tell you exactly what would have happened if this game was not on TV. They would have implemented the mercy rule and ended it early, taking the Lakers out to pasture. Now, the Lakers did, to be fair, they did lead 2-0. They did lead 2-0 and then trailed the rest of the game. So for a brief moment, when it was 2-0, if they'd stopped the game then, the Lakers would have won. They didn't. The Clippers led by as many as 25 points. 25 points. Let's look at the season series between the Lakers and Clippers. How did that turn out for the Lakers? No. Yeah. And special kudos. We're not going to spend all this time talking about the game, but special kudos to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was at minus 29 on the plus-minus, and Alex Caruso at minus 25. I hope they give both those guys long-term contracts. Starting backcourt for the defending bubble champs, outscored by 54 points. That is impressive. So with the outcome never in doubt, the subplot takes center stage. Now, what is the subplot? It involves the unibrow. Did you hear what happened early in the game? About 9 minutes in the game. Maybe you missed it. The Lakers' often injured center, Anthony Davis, the big man, forward-center combo, was dinged up early in the first quarter. He stumbled and bumbled back on the perimeter, and he connected with those rotating advertising signs we see in all these basketball arenas, and then went tumbling down, withering in pain. The agony, grabbing his ankle. He would not return. Now, the Lakers claimed that it was actually back spasms that caused Anthony Davis to miss the balance of a key game down the stretch as the Lakers are free falling. So let us discuss the question. Let's just get the initial reaction. Right? Initial reaction to the latest injury for Anthony Davis. And here we go again. Deja vu. And I'm not talking about the strip club. Deja vu. I've got my observations. Benjamin Franklin, childhood toy, and vocal cords. And we will fasten all of these things together into an adequate Maller monologue. Now, I will spell all of this out to you. So to begin with, we're obviously skeptical by nature, right? By nature, doing sports radio, it's better to be skeptical than be a Pollyanna. So as we are skeptical, we look at this story and we say, well, Anthony Davis, it looked like he was grabbing his ankle. He said, hey, it's not my ankle, it's my back. Let's make believe that's true. Let's make believe this is not some spin. The spin cycle, like Spin Cycle Regina, our caller from Minnesota. And the Laker PR staff is being 100% honest, and Anthony Davis isn't lying at all. Okay, Anthony Davis has had issues with his entire body. Right? There's nothing on the man's body that has not been injured at one point or another. Everything. So if you go to the injury chart, and I've done that for you, if you go to the injury chart, Anthony Davis, he's no stranger to having lower back issues. In fact, he has missed 15 games throughout his career due to spinal issues over the years. And those problems with your back are known to linger. They haunt you like a phantom is what they do. And it was the great Benjamin Franklin, one of the forefathers before wokeness in America. And Benjamin Franklin said, in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death, taxes, and Anthony Davis on the trainer's table, because those things are guaranteed. If you want fragility, if you want dependability, a commitment to be damaged, that is Anthony Davis in a nutshell. Now, in addition, you can add this latest episode, and we don't know for sure how bad it is, but we do know it's another negative injury story, right? Another episode here to pile on. We got a big pile of doctor notes from Anthony Davis, and you can just put another one on, right? Just put another one on. And I determined this a while back, but I was reminded of it watching Anthony Davis limp off the court here. His favorite childhood toy. You know what his favorite childhood toy was? Humpty Dumpty. He had a little Humpty Dumpty doll. It's his doppelganger. In fact, AD is the living, breathing embodiment of Humpty Dumpty. Right? Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the Laker trainers and all the Laker doctors couldn't put Humpty together again. He'll come back, and then it's going to happen again. I don't doubt he'll be back playing, and he'll get hurt again. Can't depend on the guy unless you're depending on an injury. We know how this story is going to end. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. As William Shatner told me, checkmate. Cue the closing credits. Cue them. All right, last observation. So you parlay the LeBron James gimpy ankle. We did a monologue about this the other day. We're hearing that LeBron will not be healthy again the rest of the season and postseason. So you have a tsunami of fragile. A tsunami of fragile. And someplace, we're not sure exactly where. I haven't been there in a long time, but somewhere in the bowels of Staples Center in downtown LA, there's movement that's taking place. And it's not some rat crawling around, some other critter. All right. Now, we know it's not over, but the fat lady is stretching, and she's warming up her vocal cords right now. She's getting those vocal cords ready to go. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it, unless you don't, right? I cannot wait to enjoy some LeBron James-flavored Schadenfreude. Right? And Anthony Davis can be a big part of that. Taking joy out of the misfortune of the Lakers. And, you know, it's wrong to say turnabout is fair play unless it's okay. And some Clipper payback here in spades. We'd be okay with that. Now, for you historians, I've already gotten some messages. And the game's only been over for a short time, relative short times before our radio show started. And for you historians who are like, well, the Lakers aren't 100%. You can't be braggadocious about that because the Lakers didn't have all their players. Listen, it's bullcrap. If the Clippers, let me be very clear here. I'm going to spell this out to you, okay? If the Clippers end up winning a championship because LeBron James is limping and Anthony Davis has bags of ice all over his body, and you go down the list, and Chris Paul should go snap, crackle, pop for the Suns, and he's down for the count. And you go to every top, if Luka Doncic suddenly has a boo-boo and can't play, and the Clippers end up winning, that is a more legitimate championship than what the Lakers had last year. So do not be an ignorant fool. It is how sports work. It's a war of attrition. You've got the micro and the macro, and the perfect analogy for you, right? For those of you that are pushing back, well, the Clippers shouldn't take credit if they win, or the other team's not healthy. Bullcrap, right? Short term, people will bust the balls of the Clippers and say, well, you won, babe. Only won because of X, Y, and Z. But remember the long game, right? The macro, the long game, no one's going to remember. And the great example of this, the Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard. The real reason they won that championship was because the Golden State Warriors came apart at the seams. That run by Toronto was fueled by snap, crackle, pop. And while it's only been a few years since that championship, and we certainly remember it, right now what happened, you think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when you look back and you just kind of scroll through basketballreference.com and look at who won the championship, you think you're going to worry about, well, what exactly happened? Give me the breakdown. Well, how did the Raptors win? No, that's not how it works. So again, should the Clippers, I'd have no problem with it. If they end up winning because everyone else falls apart by the wayside, that's fine. I'm good with that. I'll take that right now. Where do I sign?